This might seem radical, but I say we've had enough of studying spirituality. Let's live it. Let's walk the talk. Let's live the love. And let's not delay another day. I work with spiritual students who'd like to deepen their spiritual practice, build trust and faith, and eliminate fear, doubt, and worry so they can be at peace and help others. As a spiritual counselor and a teacher for 20 years, more than 20 years, I've been able to help thousands of people to go from a feeling of confusion, doubt, worry, and despair to feeling true spiritual success. Essentially, I help people who are a lot like me. I used to feel that nothing I did was good enough. I had a secret belief that there was something wrong with me. And I used to be so mean and complaining and judgmental that I worried I might actually be an evil person beyond hope. I felt all of that, and I despaired of ever finding the secret code that would get me through that door that felt like it was slammed in my face. Like a lot of people, I was making the mistakes of reading all the books and listening to all the audios and going to all the workshops and still feeling like I just couldn't quite get the spiritual breakthrough I was looking for. It always eluded me. Like a lot of people, I felt like this spiritual stuff works for other people, but not for me, because there really is something wrong with me. It's true. That's how I felt. And there are a lot of people who feel that way too. And sometimes they decide, why bother? It doesn't work for me. I can't get it. It's beyond me. So they settle for just coasting along with reading the spiritual books, listening to the audios, and going to the workshops and making little bits of progress. And most spiritual seekers do that for a long time, too long, in fact. They settle for not making much spiritual progress at all. They keep busy reading spiritual books and studying and trying to get the answer through their intellect, as if collecting information could ever be healing or transformative. You see, the ego analyzes information. That's what it does. It collects data, hoping that somehow that could somehow bring about a mystical experience, which it cannot do. It's a huge distraction. And that's exactly what I did. I distracted myself for years just like that. Maybe you can relate. Yet I didn't give up. And I'm guessing that you haven't either. Or you wouldn't be listening to me right now. So I kept praying and meditating and I kept searching until I finally found the answer. And it didn't happen overnight, but I found my breakthrough. My breakthrough came in the form of a truly effective spiritual practice that I could commit to. It had and has many parts, and I committed to making my spiritual practice active in every waking minute of my day, going with me everywhere I went. I call it walking the talk and living the love. It's about the follow through, it's about the practical application. And I decided to focus on that. And that is what brought me the results I wanted. It brought me the breakthrough I desired, and it continues to do that for me. I now feel really good about myself. I love my life. I am living the life I dreamed of, and it gets better all the time, truly. It amazes me, but it does. Now, believe me, I didn't imagine it could happen for me. I really was at the point of despair, and one thing changed it for me. Here it is. I made a commitment to love and be loving, to be receptive to love. I'm verklempt. To love and be loving and be receptive to love. And I don't mind telling you, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, just to be loving. It doesn't sound like it's that hard, but I dare you to stop complaining, to stop criticizing, to stop attacking, to stop judging, to stop blaming, and forgive everything that's ever happened to you. Most people won't even begin to try. It seems impossible, but it's not if you follow this tip. Ready? Here it is. Put spirit in charge. That's it. Don't go it alone. Put spirit in charge. Put it all on spirit, because spirit cannot and will not fail. Stop going it alone. That's the thing that spiritual students do all the time. They just take God out of the equation, studying spirit, spiritual principles, spiritual teachings, and yet disconnected from spirit itself. So that's what really walking the talk and living the love is. It's staying connected. It's not just words. And no part of that is studying. It's all application. And that's what I didn't get for so long. And that's what most spiritual students are missing. They don't get it either. An effective spiritual practice and the support to not give up. That's what's missing for most people, those two things. When you have a group of people who are willing to commit right alongside you, so you can have comfort when you feel like you're failing, and you can get cheers when you succeed, and company when you need to remember to laugh and not take it all so seriously, and support when it seems so freaking hard to have even the smallest bit of trust or willingness. Oh, and you know what else? No BS. None of that spiritual know-it-all stuff. Folks who are transparent, authentic, and willing to listen with true compassion. It's an incredible combination, and that's what works. It really works. You know, when you've got that kind of community and that kind of support and that kind of willingness in a group, you start to get some traction real fast. So here's what I do. I help people who feel their spiritual practice is flatlined and it's not bringing them any real tangible results. I give them tools they can actually see and the support to succeed so that they can feel excited and inspired about the real results that they're definitely going to get in that situation. And they do get. And they get results in terms of how they feel about themselves and how they feel in their relationships and how they feel about their career and their life and other kinds of results in very specific ways. Because that's what happens. They get real results. You see, we can make all of the tasks in life our priority. Our ego loves to feel more productive when the laundry is done and the yard looks good and the emails are all answered and the dog has been walked and the books are all read and the errands are all run and all that stuff is happening. That's when we get this minute sense of achievement. But ultimately, it leaves us feeling more empty, right? Because it's none of that stuff is nourishing, right? There's no spiritual vitamins in it. It just feeds the ego's endless need to feel productive, but it's not really productive. So it's like we're missing the point of our life, which is to wake up, to wake up. Honestly, I've worked with people who were so down in the dumps that they were contemplating taking their own life. People who were depressed for years, many years, and people who felt helpless and hopeless, like I used to feel. And I've worked with people who've been searching and seeking for a very long time. And they're still feeling like that spiritual breakthrough eludes them, like I did. It's like you can feel it's possible, but it seems like it's only possible for other people, not for us. We just can't get the breakthrough. That's how I used to feel, and that's how a lot of people I meet feel. And you know what it is? It's because we're distracted by seeking the temporary satisfaction of getting all those tasks done when we could be having a powerful spiritual practice. And that's why I made that shift and I made my spiritual practice number one: walk in the talk, live in the love. So here's the truth. And a spiritual practice that's really effective, it actually saves time because now you're making better decisions, because you're making loving decisions, you're making higher choices because your mind is not cluttered and distracted with all the negativity. So it's just easier to make higher and better choices. I mean, duh, that's just common sense, right? So, an effective spiritual practice keeps you in your loving heart so you're not feeling badly about things and then self medicating in order to distract yourself from the pain you're experiencing about your relationships and your body and your self image and your health and your loneliness and the distance that you feel from the people you love. Instead, you're eliminating the causes of all those feelings. The causes. Be honest with yourself. How much time do you really spend in managing and coping with your problems rather than getting to the root cause of them? Isn't it just more practical to focus on healing the root causes rather than managing with the surface problems? Classic example: people lose weight because they think the weight is the problem. So they work really hard to lose the weight, but then they can't keep it off and they gain back even more weight than they lost because they haven't dealt with the root cause. They're only dealing with behavior modification. I like to work at the root cause level rather than the symptom level because that way it can be healed permanently and we can focus on living a great life. We can focus on what we're really interested in. And again, that's why it's called walking the talk and living the love. Living the love is what makes our life beautiful. And it's hard to do that when we're managing and coping and settling. It just is. I've worked with folks in every stage of life: young men and women in their 20s, new moms and dads, folks who were newly divorced, looking to remarry, folks who are in the prime of their career, folks who are empty nesters, new grandparents, people divorced after decades of marriage, and people who have been married, still happily married, or somewhat happily married for 30 or 40 or 50 years. All kinds of folks. And you know what? We have a lot of things in common. Here's what we have in common: we'd like to feel better about ourselves, right? We'd like to feel more connected with spirit, with intuition and inspiration. We'd like to improve at least one area of our life. Often it's many areas: health, relationship, career, finances, happiness. And often people say, yeah, I'll have some of each of those. Thank you very much. And what we have in common too is we have some willingness. I mean, nobody comes near me if they don't have some willingness. Just a little bit's all that's necessary, truly, to crack open that facade of ego driven spiritual practice. So we all have some willingness to actually start walking the talk and living the love and stop talking about it, stop talking about it, stop yapping about it, and actually walk it in order to live a more productive life. So the folks that I meet, they're willing to stop just studying and actually put together a powerful spiritual practice that works for them using the tools and the tips that I give them. They're ready to get some real results. And most of them would like to be part of a kick ass spiritual community. And by that, I mean not a bunch of intellectual folks who are all talk and no action. I hear that a lot. So, my year long Masterful Living program is designed to give you the tools that work, the support to use them effectively, and the inspiration not to give up. It's a powerful combination that you cannot get in a 6 week class or a book or a retreat. I don't know any other program that's this comprehensive. Now, registration is about to open for Masterful Living. And this year, I'm doing something different. For those who are interested in this level of program and who'd really like to develop this ability to commit to a spiritual practice, I've got some wonderful incentives so you can get started this year and not have to wait till next year. That way, you can end this year feeling like a rock star and excited to make next year the best year ever. How does that sound? I hope it really appeals to you. I hope this is what you're looking for. And that is why Spirit sent you to me and to watch this video today. So, this video is the first one in a series. So, come back and watch the next video. I thank you for spending this time with me. I'm excited for you to see the next video. And I've got something really valuable that I think you're going to like and you may not have heard before. And I'd really like to share it with you in the next video. So come back. I hope it makes a big difference in your life, truly. Mwah.